Candidates running for State Senate District 36, Democrat Matty Preston, incumbent Republican Ryan Gaddy, and challenger Republican Robert Mills. Let's talk insurance a little bit. Yesterday we had Barry Milligan, supposed to have John Milkovich in, and I guess it would be, you tell me when I'm being unfair or wrong, that it was you and Senator Milkovich who caught a lot of heat, a lot of controversy. The story is those two trial lawyers killed tort reform in committee, and that bill would have lowered insurance rates. And bluntly speaking, that's kind of stuck with you for a while. Tell me what we don't understand. John didn't join us yesterday. You are here today. Explain to us what we all didn't get about your vote.
You know, it just goes back to the privilege. You know, you can really send out stuff on social media that's fake news. In 2016 and 2017, I drafted bills that actuaries said would lower rates. I extend the prescriptive period, change the jury threshold. Those were things that actuaries told me would lower rates. My bills were killed by billboard lawyers and big insurance. So in 2018, Kirk Talbot said, look, we're going to form a task force. And that task force is going to meet every day, and we're going to spend a lot of time. Ryan, would you vote for a resolution? Give me that power. I said, sure. The resolution passed the House and the Senate unanimously. He had about 12 months to meet and talk to folks. I found out later, after I told him I'd vote for his bill that he said came from the task force, that they'd met 3 times for about an hour, that 6 of the 11 people on that task force were insurance lobbyists. I also found out in May of 2019, as I was pushing people to vote for his bill, that he had an actuary report from February the 19th of 2019 that he didn't share with anyone. I only received that because at the last minute, I wanted the binders from his task force to convince Milkovich and others to vote for the bill. There were no binders. And the actuary report from insurance people that he picked said his bill would not lower rates. And so when he came to the committee on the second meeting, you can watch this video. Most people won't watch it. We point blank asked him if this was a task force bill. He said, I never said it was. And I said, then why did you name it the Omnibus Premium Reduction Act if it's not going to reduce rates? And what we found out later, that what his bill would have done is given 3 years of windfall profits to big insurance. That there's a lot of other stuff I could tell you about
but
it.
You voted against it because...
Well, I had to vote against it because he wasn't truthful with me. If he'd have said, Ryan, here's my actuary report, and I was really upset with him because we still use credit reports to set insurance rates here in Louisiana. No other state is allowed to do that. We use gender, race, military status to set your premiums. He also worked to kill a bill that we had in Senate Insurance that said you can't use someone's credit report. Get this novel idea. You can only use their driving record.
Mr. Mills, or is what he's saying accurate?
Well, let me be clear. The House Bill 372 by Kirk Talbot should have been passed. It should have seen the Senate floor. It passed the House of Representatives overwhelmingly, and the Judiciary Aid Committee is at fault for that. And so I'm going to hold Ryan guilty until proven otherwise. And you have to. I'm a businessman, so there's no this isn't rocket science. If you withdraw the seatbelt gag rule, if you open up medical billing secrecy, if you reduce or eliminate the jury trial threshold, and if you eliminate the direct action that allows people to sue insurance companies that weren't involved in the wreck but may be on there, that's going to help. It's going to help. It's going to lower rates, and it's a step in the right direction. Why in the world would we not put that on the floor to vote?
Miss Maddie, when you first came in, the first segment, you said one of your priorities would be we need to figure out a way to lower insurance rates. You've heard Mr. Gaddy's take. You've heard Mr. Mills' take. What are you thinking?
Well, I am thinking that they both have very valid points. And I just believe that taking all these points and working together, negotiating in Baton Rouge with the legislators there, that we together can come up with a very, very excellent plan to reduce these premiums for the people in Louisiana. I believe working toward that goal together, we can do that. And whatever it takes can be put together, and we can come out with a win-win situation.
Ryan, you wanted to respond to Robert.
Yeah, and I respect Robert's opinion. In fact, that's the opinion I had before I read the actuary report. And the actuary report, no one's seen it except for me. I was the only legislator to ask for the binders from the task force, and I did not expect to get the information I got. And I had to share that with other people on Judiciary A. And they said, are you telling me the Omnibus Premium Reduction Act is not actuarially sound? And I said, man, they picked their own experts, and their own experts said it wouldn't lower rates. But here's the shell game here is that I don't mind. I've got thick skin. Many Republicans told me in the interim between the first vote and the second vote to vote for it. It'll save you politically. And I said, that's not why I came down here. That's not. And so here's why the bill didn't pass. We point blank asked the author if we could put an amendment on it, like Maddie said, negotiate. And I said, can I put an amendment on here that we can say, just like Texas, if we give you this tort reform, you'll give us premium reform. And he said, no, I won't give you 10%. I won't give you 20%. I said, let's put it in the bill, because I'd be a terrible negotiator if we passed this bill and it didn't lower rates. So that's why.
Constitutional Convention, yes or no? Would you support it,
Yes.
Robert? Brian?
Only if it's limited.
Maddie?
Yes.
Okay, one more thing before we let you guys go. We had a fiscal cliff. We now have a budget surplus. I want some of my money back. Will you go down there, Maddie? I'll start with you. Will you go down there and try to work to give me some of that money back that you took from me because the fiscal cliff wasn't quite what it was set out to be?
I am a definite advocate for putting more money in the pockets of the lower income and middle income taxpayer worker here in Louisiana. Yes, ma'am, I will work hard to make that happen because we need economically a change for the people in Louisiana because the cost of living is rising. A lot of salaries are staying the same. So yes, ma'am, I'm definitely an advocate.
Ryan?
That's why I voted against the sales tax in 2018. I looked at the market indicators, the options market, the futures market, and I was one of 6 senators. I've joined Sharon Hewitt and several other conservatives, and we voted against the 7-year, $3.5 billion sales tax.
The other thing everybody's trying to hang around your neck is
Oh, I know. I voted for every tax. That's what they say. But look, if you look at my record, I mean, John Schroeder voted for the penny in 2016, and so did I. It was a short term just to fix the bankruptcy we were in. But in 2018, the economy's coming back. Oil and gas is coming back. And I predicted we'd have a surplus if we passed the penny. So I voted against the Republican penny, and the party has attacked me for that. But look, we didn't need it. Now, as far as a surplus, $500 million is a 1.5% surplus. Now, I was down there my first year, we had a 1.5% deficit, and that was not good for our medical school, our health science center, or Barksdale. So having a 1 to 2% surplus, although it is a lot of money when you look at the core number, when you compare it to the denominator of our whole budget, it's what other states are experiencing right now. Now, luckily, we have a set format for how you spend a surplus. The rainy day fund and then shovel-ready projects. And don't think I'm not going to go down there and leverage my friendships to use that surplus money to help Webster Parish keep fiber bond.
Pardon me, Mr. Ryan, I see Robert, rather, I see your wheels turning down there. What are you thinking?
Well, let me answer Aaron's question. Yeah, if there's extra money in the budget and money laying around Baton Rouge, it should go right back to the taxpayers. There is a process, unfortunately, that locks it in. But we've overtaxed our economy. We've passed more taxes than we really needed to, and we've passed more taxes than we can afford to pay. And so my idea is to shrink the government, and that'll put money back in your pocket. But when we shrink the government, fiscal reform, let's get back to where Louisiana really belongs instead of this huge government we've developed. It's the bureaucracy eats up all the money you can send it. You got to stop.
One quick one. What's the difference between you and Ryan Gaddy?
Politically, we have some differences. Personally, we have no differences. Ryan's very active in the community. I hope Ryan stays very active in the community. I've been very active now that I've retired, and I'm looking forward to that. Politically, we are quite different, and I'm a staunch Republican, conservative, fiscally responsible, and I'm going to go down there and make waves. And listen, if somebody's in Baton Rouge and not making enemies, they're not doing the job I want them to do.
Ms.
I'm going
Maddie,
to make some noise.
Excuse me, Rob. What's the difference between you and Ryan Gaddy?
Well, first of all, I don't know Mr. Gaddy that well, but the time that I have shared forums with him, I think he's a nice guy. But if there's any difference, it's because he's male and I'm female. He's Caucasian and I'm black. And I just believe that because of my experiences in society as a black female, I believe I am a bit perhaps more compassionate and maybe empathetic with the with the lot that a lot of the people in Louisiana have to live with. And I believe that my desire to be accessible might be much more severe than maybe his. I crave the input from people, the complaints, the issues of concern, solutions, proposals. So that I crave working together, bringing people together so we can solve our problems, and more government of the people, by the people, and for the people. That's what I want to.
Ryan, give me about 30 to 45 seconds to wrap up.
You know, I mean, I think when you ask them how we're all different, that's a big question, because guess what? I represent both of them right now. And when you hear Maddie's answers and when you hear Robert's answers, that's my district. Claiborne does not even have a Walmart. Bienville is a timber industry and oil and gas. Then I also have Stonebridge Golf Club. I have North Bossier, where Robert lives. You know, I have a very diverse district, and it's been very tough, Robert and Aaron, to make sure that I represent both Stonebridge and Homer. And so it is tough being a representative. I don't get everything I want as a young professional from Bossier Parish. I think when you put the hat on of senator, the root word there is wisdom in the Latin, and you have to pray for God's wisdom to represent everyone in your district. So I appreciate your time.